Welcome. I'm Cara Riley, the founder of the Transition Living Real Estate Team Project. And today we're having episode 2, connecting the cross-country move of our video sharing to help make transitions easier. We're a group of real estate agents and resources around the country that help people make changes in life. The vision includes presenting workshops, resources, and videos like this. So whether you're thinking of a transition 1 year from now, 5 years from now, hopefully the information that we're recording and providing in an archive will help make the journey fun. Now, today, I'm very excited to introduce Nancy Harrison, who is CS. She spends her days helping people through prayer. But I met Nancy on Facebook, and I am so excited how this social media story has transpired. She saw the posts that I do about the transition, and she gave me a call last week about her family, and her mother and father are relocating from Anchorage, Alaska to Spring Mountain, Tennessee, which is close to Chattanooga, and we'll look forward to some weather reports here soon on this transition and how it's all transpired. So the things that we're going to cover in our discussion today will be making the decision to make a move, whether you're moving towards your kids, away from your kids, or into assisted living, into independent living. We all start with the decision. Then coordinating the sale, either the sale of an existing property, purchase of a replacement home, or finding a place to call home. Deciding what to sell, what to give away, that would be purging your accessories. Then organizing the move, and finally camping until your new belongings arrive in your replacement location. So Nancy, great to have you here today. I'm going to put Nancy up here on the big screen, and there we go. There's our pretty Nancy from Chattanooga. How are you today, Nancy?
Hi, Cara. I'm fine. I'm in Signal Mountain. That's where my parents are moving to.
Oh, now how far away is that from Chattanooga?
Oh, we're just a bedroom community. I can see Chattanooga out my window.
That's what, when I did my research, I'm like, where is Signal Mountain? And it really, literally is a mountain, correct?
If you're from Alaska, maybe not, but in Tennessee, it definitely is.
I was like, well, it looks like the same landscape.
It's beautiful.
It really is. And so Nancy, how did this journey start with your parents? How did they decide that it was time to make a move? And then how did they decide that you have, I think, 4 or 5 brothers and sisters?
Four brothers.
Yeah, how did they decide where to go?
Well, they moved to Alaska many years ago, decades ago, with 5 children under the age of 8. And I've been down in Tennessee for almost 20 years now, and I want my parents close to me again.
Ah, yeah.
I've been planting the seed over the years.
Okay.
And it finally came up within the last year or so that they decided that they really would appreciate the convenience of being on one level, having laundry, bedrooms, everything on one level.
I think there's a lot of people that are right there with them.
It's a wonderful thing. So their home in Anchorage is not that way, and so they needed to move, so why not move here?
So I think the key for our listeners is that it really is a family affair when people that are all over. Now, where are your siblings located?
I have a brother who is in partly in Palmer outside of Anchorage and also in Arizona during the winters. I have another brother who's in London but is coming back to Idaho. And then I have a brother in Girdwood, which is south of Anchorage, and a brother who splits his time between Sutton, which is just north of Anchorage, and Juneau, where he works.
Oh, wow. So when they made that decision, Nancy, you and I were talking in the green room about their anxiety, because when you have 5 children, obviously you can't live by all of them. So how did you kind of go through that decision and that sharing with the rest of the family when they made the decision?
Well, all my brothers knew about it as my parents considered this, and they of course hadn't been living by all of us for quite a while. And they just let them know that they were thinking about it so it could kind of sink in. And I think really the hardest reaction was probably from the grandchildren, the little grandchildren that are in Anchorage. But we decided, Cara, that they're going to have to go on vacation and come visit Grammy and Grandpa Bill, and they're going to have more quality time with them while they're on vacation than in between all of their busy lives.
Oh, that's great.
Well, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of my brothers because they'll be coming here, and my uncles and aunts to come here to visit my parents. I think it's going to really be a win-win for everyone.
Well, that's wonderful. Now, one of the things that we also talked about was how long had they lived in Anchorage?
Oh gosh, I think right about 50 years.
So that's a long time of saving stuff, and it's a long history.
Very.
So one of the things that some of the people I have been working with have a hard time with is that anxiety from their perspective, from the child's perspective, whether they're grandparents themselves now, is letting go of that family home. But now yours wasn't as hard as somebody who grew up in the house. Is that right?
That's true. My parents had moved a total of 3 times over those 50 years, and this wasn't a home.
When you were 5, you were there since you were in Anchorage.
Something like that. But I had never lived in this home that they're selling now. They've been there for many years, but yeah. I mean, I've been in Chattanooga for 20 years, so maybe they've been there for over 20. I don't have the exact dates, but no, I don't have a big emotional commitment to this house, but you know, I understand that. And they do have a home, though, Cara, another home in Anchorage, outside of Anchorage, a summer home. And that's probably where the emotional ties have come up for our family. And we've really approached it in that the memories that we've made there over the 30 or so years that they've owned the cabin, the summer home, can never be taken from us. And that whoever owns that property is going to be blessed by it and have those fun times that we had there. And so that's helped us, I think, some to, and it's still working out how that property is going to transfer or stay in the family or not stay in the family, but the memories can't ever be taken from you.
Oh, I think that's so important. I'm so glad you touched on that, because it is such a struggle sometimes with the family member helping the senior move somewhere with that letting go of the past. And I think that part of letting go of the past is having a new purpose and a new excitement and new memories. And I think that's the key to the transition. Because otherwise you are going to have this giant suitcase that then becomes a burden, and you don't let go. So part of transitioning is about letting go of that, and just like you said, those memories and that love can never be taken from the experience that you had.
It's a beautiful springtime in Chattanooga here and on Signal Mountain. So I've been sending my mom pictures of the plants coming up in her new yard and the view, and just helping her get excited about the new location.
Well, if any of you have
been here many times too.
If any of you have looked at the event that I created for this archive, there's pictures in Alaska, and then there were pictures in Tennessee, and I'm like, well, this is nice. I mean, it really has a similar feel of nature and woods.
It's in some ways it does. It's both. They're both very beautiful states, and the topography is in some respects similar.
And so that's great. All right. So now let's talk about family members and friends that were able to come together to help with the move.
Right.
And I know one of the things that I did want to let people know is that if they had family members that are kind of financially burdened, that offering to pay for a member to fly up or some of the other things would free them to be able to come, because taking off work, taking vacation time, these are all things that people need to think about. But you've had a wonderful working out with your family. Tell us how your family came together to help make this move.
Well, we really have, Cara, and it started with you. A week ago, we were pretty uncertain about the details. We were quite sure that this was the right thing and that this was really a God directed activity, and we knew there was a grand big picture, and that God was going to be guiding us and taking care of everything along the way. But some of those practical steps we just couldn't envision. And so I had seen your posts on Facebook and knew that you would have the answers, and you did. So when I called you, you walked me through some different scenarios. And I have to say that having family in Anchorage willing and able to help, yes, and then my husband and I being here and willing and able to help on Signal Mountain has really been invaluable. But I don't think that should be even necessary. I think people could call on their church family in their current and their future location, or a civic group. My dad's very involved with the Salvation Army, just to call on those friends and those connections in both locations to help. So
I think that is another one of the keys for opening conversation, and that's what we're doing with the Transition Living Real Estate team, is opening doors to conversation, because it's difficult and many people do not want to ask for help.
Well, you're not alone, and people want to help, and I think the more specific you can be with your ask, the better.
Oh, I think I'm going to write that down, because I think that specifically, it's not just in general. It's like, I need you to, I know one time when we were, when we were moving to Arizona from Colorado, and we had this huge house, we needed to get things packed, and I had friends that would come over, and I am not a good cut and paste or little organizing things. So I just got all the things organized, and they wrapped and packed, and I was like really happy. Nice. So I think that key of being specific of what they need help with helped them, because then it was like, oh, here, I need to get all the wrapping paper. Yes. Here, and here's the boxes.
Right, and it works both ways. When you're asking for help, you need, it's nice. It's really the loving thing to be specific.
Yeah.
And when you're offering to help, it's wonderful to be specific too. So.
I also had a situation with a friend who was ill. And we put together a call tree and people who were specifically helping with things. So we each had a certain week that we were providing a specific dinner, or we were taking a child to their dance lessons or whatever. So I think that same thing goes into play here, is being specific. And I thank you, Nancy, and I did add that to the list.
Asking for help. And how it worked out for us was I'm of course on the receiving end here. I'm going to be flying to Anchorage in a week and staying for 2 weeks and helping at the departure end also. But getting their house set up here, I found some very helpful, easy to find lists on just by Googling basic kitchen essentials, basic household essentials, basic pantry essentials, and just getting the very basic things in the house here. And then my brothers have really stepped up in handling the details in Anchorage, with working with the movers, working with the real estate agent, working to sell the car, cleaning out the house, and doing a lot of the post work that my parents could stay and finish themselves, but now just don't have to.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, as you were organizing, let's talk about organizing the things to keep and the things to give away, family things that need to stay within the family. What was your situation? What did you do?
Well, I think probably we started with, I mean, I can't stress, and we talked about this earlier too, Cara, the earlier you start, the better.
Yes.
But even if you haven't started and it's upon you, don't be afraid. But you've got to take it drawer by drawer, room by room. You've got to break it down, or you are going to be paralyzed.
Yeah, I think that the key is to have a plan, a strategy, whether you're going to start in the kitchen, whether you're going to start in the living room, the master bedroom, closet, whatever, to have that strategy. And I think there was a couple of things that need to be shared here is that if you can't take everything, and actually you don't want to take everything because you want to be free to create those new memories in your new place. And I know when we just moved from Arizona, I didn't take anything, and because I wanted a contemporary in my living room. I wanted it to look like a loft. I wanted it to be purple. So nothing I had.
I love it.
Yeah, nothing I had really was like that. So we actually had one recliner chair when we got here, and we did have a bed because we had moved here. But so it really is, you can make it fun. And the kids are like, well, this isn't heirloom furniture. Why do you think we want it? So out of the mouth of babes, right?
Yes.
So, but I think asking your family first,
yes,
if they would like it. And we talked about, if someone gave you something, we had some handmade lamps before we moved to Hawaii once, and we just couldn't take all of that. So the person who made it was so grateful to be able to have those lamps back. And I think you have a story about
I had made a cross stitch for a dear friend, and after she passed away, her daughter asked me if I wanted it back, and I was not
offended
in the slightest. I was thrilled, because to me that's a memory piece of this dear friend.
Yes.
And if she had wanted to keep it and love it, and she did for a little while, that would have been fine too. But for her just to take that and give it to a charity, I really am so grateful that she didn't, because I appreciate it more than anyone else ever will. And the people who made those lamps for you love them. They made them, and so
we love them. And it's just
it's like the gift that keeps giving. They gifted them to you, and it's re-gifting, but you're truly giving them a wonderful gift and giving them back.
It is. We've had many different events, live events, not recorded, but we'll probably have some where we've had professional organizers come and talk about what they do to help people. Because if you don't have family or friends that can do it, there are services. Of course, you do have to pay, but they're very well equipped with helping you go through it. And one of our guests, Jess Noel, hey Jess, said, if you don't love it, don't keep it.
Yeah.
Because
it helps to have that little short list of questions to ask yourself, to prompt that, because it's something you might be emotionally attached to. It also does help a great deal. My mom had a friend come in for a week who wasn't emotionally attached to my mom's stuff like she may or may not have been, and just to provide moral support and the impetus to keep going is a very helpful thing. Yeah. But I think, what is it, if you love it, you either have to love it, use it, or there's like a simple 3 checklist box. So
there you go. Yes,
that if you pick it up and it makes you feel good, if you get joy from it, keep it.
Yeah.
But if you pick it up and think, oh, what am I gonna do, you get rid of it.
And another thing is that you can take photos
Right.
of anything that you really don't have space for, and go ahead and either make a CD of it, or you can actually have a little book printed. They're very economical now.
Very economical.
Upload the photos, and then you have your book of your special things. And I think you just talked about your dad with a lot of awards on the wall, rather than take all those that I still have in a box downstairs. I think I'll just go take a picture.
Right, letters of commendation and just a lot of information, and it's things that we kids haven't even seen all of it. And so it's a great opportunity. My mom's been taking pictures of it. It's a great opportunity to really gather some of those memories of his working career together while he's still very much with us, and celebrate those times.
That's great. So now, once we've gone through, purged all the accessories, now it's time to organize the move. And really it is just one box at a time, one bite at a time. That's how we eat the elephant, because it really is, this is a monumental change, and especially when you've lived somewhere for 40 or 50 years. So if we just break it down into these small bits, but then you have the logistics of moving your furniture or moving the boxes. And one of the ways that you can get organized is by actually putting the things that the movers will take in another location, because this can help you with either an estate sale or a garage sale. And I think you've worked through some of that, Karen, with your family, on how are they going to be handling the sale of things that they don't want to take with them.
Right. Well, we're fortunate enough that one of my brothers has stepped up to really offer to pick up all of those pieces and of working with the movers, and then handling the sale and or the removal of everything that's left, and cleaning the house and listing it and selling the car, which were some big pieces that my parents could have managed while they were there, but it's such a blessing for them not to have to.
Yes.
And we aren't separating things so much. They have gotten a lot of things out of the house that are going to, my brothers have picked things up that they want. They've had charities come and pick things up. They've taken things to charities. But we don't want them to necessarily have to be moving furniture around right now. So some of the things the movers are taking are still spread throughout the house, but they have a list of things that they want. And we're just going to do a really solid handoff to my brother so that he's very clear on what the movers are taking and then what's staying. So I haven't physically seen it yet, so I can answer your question better next week.
We'll have a follow-up.
Oh, there you go.
We'll have Mom on with us next.
Oh, I would love that. You would love her. So my dad, they're both great.
Oh, that's great. Now, one of my engineer friends is color code, so they have dots on everything. You know?
My mom is numbers. All the boxes are numbered, and she has a master list with what's in the boxes.
Oh, that's good. That's good. But
yeah.
I mean,
as long as we keep that list, we're good.
So the movers, if they have some kind of a flag so that they know what they're supposed to take. But these are the logistics that go into a move that anyone listening, I can go into much more detail, or our members can go into detail on that.
One really important piece that I do want to mention is that power of attorney.
Yes.
That's essential.
So, and usually through the title companies, you can get the power of attorney for the sale of the house. And
the purchase in our case as well.
Yes, sale or purchase. Now, other things, it could be an estate attorney needs to give you a larger one if you want more than just being able to sign for the purchase or the sale. But yes,
the purchase power of attorney actually worked beautifully at the utilities. Anything that had to do with that property
worked for
you.
And
that was essential.
Yes, and that's another important piece of once you close, if you're closing on your replacement home, and these are all dots that connect together, and when you're working with the right real estate professional to help you organize it, they'll help you from the Anchorage Inn to the Tennessee Inn all the way around, making sure that all of the parts go together. So don't
forget the grand plan and who's really in control.
There you go.
You are doing doing, whatever is impelling you to move, it's always founded on love. Whether if you're moving for a job, it's love of your family to provide for them. My parents are moving to be closer to me, and that's a love of family, and to provide for themselves as well too, to be in a more suitable home. And that love always is fulfilled.
It is. And so you just want to be working with someone who understands that, who really feels the empathy with the immenseness of this.
Yes.
So, okay, now we will have that list that Nancy was talking about on some staples to have to come into the camp property. And the reason we call it camping is because that's the mentality you really have to have when you're finishing up the sale of your house and when you're waiting for your furniture to arrive. You literally are camping. And if you've ever been camping, just that's the way it is. It's like you're not going to have everything. One good thing about when you have a car, you can go eat out. Right. You don't have to eat everything at home. So you just think about that, and what do I need to get by until the rest of the things arrive? And sometimes people think they have to take so much, and really less is more with not having so much clutter and confusion when you're waiting for the things.
And then in with that, Carl, too, seeing what the sellers are selling, any furniture, buying a couch from the sellers was a nice, easy dot to check off for my parents.
Yes, and I think you liked one of the ideas that I had presented, and we try and help our sellers with, if they are leaving things and they have listed their home before they are moving out to replacement property, and they need the things there so that it shows better, almost with a staging, is we help them create a list. Like, I'm going to leave a desk, I'm going to leave the TV, I'm going to leave that they're selling them. So we make a list typed out with the price that the seller is asking, with a place for a phone number and their email, so that it can be out. And even though someone doesn't buy the house, you can contact them and they can buy your furniture or whatever you have for sale when your home is sold. And
that's brilliant.
When we moved to Hawaii, we had everything, because we didn't take anything. We didn't take beds, we didn't take furniture, so everything was for sale, and people had written down their names and their phone numbers. And so when we had the contract, called them up and said, okay, now you can come and get it. And it just really, really helped with getting rid of some of those things. So anyway, so what do you think, Nancy, that would be a nice way to end up our little conversation here, with what your tidbits would be to help a family in transition?
Well, I think keeping an eye on the prize, just really remembering why they're moving, and to try to bring, we have I don't know if I said this already or not, but we have a beautiful spring right here, and I've been sending my mom pictures of the flowers coming up in her new yard, and just getting her excited about the new location, to just keep her thought on that goal, that end goal, and to not lose your joy, and to know you're not alone, and that there really is a grand plan, and it is good, and this move will be completed one day.
It is.
And just to hold on to your joy throughout this process. Don't let it bring you down. It's an opportunity, not a problem.
That is so sweet of you, Nancy. And I'm just so delighted, because when social media first started, I jumped in both feet.
Yes, you did.
2009. So I've been doing this for a while, but really making some fun connections, because we did not know each other except for Facebook in a group. And then when you're watching what people are posting, then it was like, here's some value that can help people. And then I'm so grateful that you jumped right in and were willing to share your story, because this will help other people. So thank you so much. And I really do want to have a show with your mom, if she'd be happy to do it, even if it's like 5 minutes of.
I think she would. We can show what the house in Anchorage looks like. I'll be in.
Oh yeah, that'd be
very welcome. And I love the idea of helping people. It's what I do for a living. So this is just another piece.
It is. So that's great. So we're all employed with the greater cause.
Oh, absolutely.
And so this has just been fun. If you have any questions, we do have a free ebook that will help open doors with questions and that people have, and it will be available on transitionliving.io. And I know that's funny, but it is .io. And transitionliving.io. And we'll look forward to having Nancy back and her mom, and we'll see you on the next Transition Living Real Estate Team project video. So have a nice evening, and we'll be back. Thanks,
Bye.
Nancy. Bye.